name and title?
Elizabeth Thunderbird Haile Shinnecock Elder. I'm a historian and storyteller.
Now, there have been tremendous changes over, let's say, the last 15 or 20 years at the powwow. Anything from, I remember it was kind of in the dark when I first came here in the 80s. They didn't even have a lot of electric lights out. And to brighter clothing for the fancy dancers, etc. What do you notice as far as changes over the years at the powwow?
We have a larger audience because we accommodate that, and we have been recognized as among the top 10 powwows in the whole country. And of course we are one of the early ones because on the East Coast it was part of our social life to blend with the other tribes as often as we could during the summer. After the planting and before the harvest, you have a few days when you get together. Sometimes we call it Corn Festival. And it's one of our times of Thanksgiving.
Now, is this the 45th?
68.
68. Just what changes have you noticed most? Besides the audience, the number of people.
Well, our popularity brings in people from very many more tribes. And that gives us the breadth. We enjoy them. We visit them at their powwows, and we have that social tie between the various nations, especially up and down the East Coast. People who we thought knew each other, but now the 2 generations have passed. We try to introduce them to each other and hold social events so that they have something in common. And we all have this trying to hang on to our native culture, retain our language, as many words as we can, and teach them to our children. Some will be fluent in a language, and some will just have a familiarity with it. All my grandchildren have native names, and whereas in my generation we didn't do that.
What's the thing you look most forward to for powwow?
I hope that we will influence our society to have the feeling that they are on borrowed land. Shinnecock was never conquered or anything like that. We just shared our land with the people that came. But their children had a typewriter and they wrote up deeds. And then they charged taxes, and that meant, oh, I own this land, and everybody else gets to just stay over it. And we never had that attitude, but they do, and they definitely have to learn that some of this land was loaned to them, some was leased. We still have the documents that show that some lands were leased. And how about that day when we paid the rent?
Anything you wanted to add?
I'd like to see that day. Yes. Many great properties would be turned over to the management of our own people who know. They work for the government. They know all the ins and outs. We could be very fine stewards of large properties. Shinnecock is steward of a beautiful peninsula. Shinnecock Bay is on the outside of it and adjacent to the ocean. And that is a high responsibility. We take good care of it. You look at our waterfront and you see trees. You look at other people's waterfront and you see rows and rows of houses all dumping their waste into the bay. You have to think about the implications of that particular scene. You know, and we want to be among those who retain the pristine waterfront, so that our trees will be wholesome and that our waterfront will be clean.
Okay.
That's what I